Hi, this is Thought Experiment with Anna London, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about the maze of the false prophet. Okay, so imagine that you are living in the last days, a time when the world is rife with turmoil and people are desperately seeking guidance and truth. In this scenario, you find yourself at the entrance of a vast, intricate maze known as the Labyrinth of Prophets. Okay, so each path within this maze represents a different prophet or spiritual leader, some true and some false, all claiming to lead to salvation or enlightenment, okay? So the challenge, right? So your task is to navigate through this maze, but here's the catch. Each path is lined with signs, wonders, and teachings. Some paths show miracles, others offer profound wisdom, and some promise peace and prosperity. However, not all signs are genuine. Some are illusions crafted by false prophets to deceive. So let's talk about the true path, because there is one true path, but it's not marked by grandeur or visible miracles. Instead, it's characterized by consistency with ancient text, right? So those teachings align with historical divine writings without contradictions. The fruits of the Spirit. So this path leads to communities where love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control are evident. And then there's humility and sacrifice. The prophet here does not boast or seek personal gain, but serves others at personal cost. Okay, so let's talk about the false paths, right? These are deceptive. Miracles for show. So miracles that serve to awe rather than to heal or serve humanity's true needs. Contradictory teachings, messages that conflict with established divine wisdom, often appealing to human desires or fears. And then, of course, glorification, right? Prophets who elevate themselves, seeking power, wealth, or fame, okay? Now, the tools that you have, the compass of discernment, okay, this is important because this is your ability to judge character and teaching by its fruits. Does the teaching lead to the betterment of individuals and society, or does it foster division, fear, or self-indulgence, right? The map of Scripture, okay, that's another tool you have. Because ancient texts that serve as a guide, provide criteria for truth and false prophecy. And then there's the lantern of prayer, a connection to a higher wisdom or divine guidance meant to illuminate the path when logical tools fail. Okay, so let's talk about some navigational strategies, right, that you may employ, okay? The first is to test the spirits. As advised in 1 John, chapter 4, verse 1, every spirit or teaching must be tested. If the teachings or the prophet's actions do not align with love, truth, and righteousness as defined by your foundational scriptures, they may not be from the true source. The second navigational strategy is look beyond the spectacle, because a false prophet, might dazzle with signs and wonders, but these are not definitive markers of truth. Remember, even in biblical times, false prophets performed miracles, okay? So the depth of the teaching, its alignment with the divine law and the prophet's life should be scrutinized. The third navigational strategy is community reflection. So in this maze, you meet others, discuss, compare notes. The collective wisdom can sometimes reveal truths that one might miss alone. However, beware of the herd mentality where many might be led astray together. Okay. The fourth navigational strategy is personal integrity check. Reflect on your own motivations. Are you seeking truth for spiritual growth, or are you looking for signs that confirm your preconceived notions or desires? Okay, that's important because you can be led astray there as well, right? Very easily. The fifth navigational strategy is the long-term view. Okay, so false prophets often promise quick, easy solutions. The true path might be harder, but leads to lasting peace and growth. Okay, let's talk about the end game. Avoid the traps. Recognize that traps in this maze do include, fear-mongering, material prosperity, and isolation. So let's walk through each of those. With fear-mongering, we have prophecies that play on fear, okay, to control rather than free. Material prosperity, so that promises wealth of success without emphasizing spiritual growth. And then, of course, isolation, teachings that separate you from community or from questioning them, okay? Now, solitude is different because even in the Bible, even Jesus sought solitude, right? So that's different, okay? become closer to the Spirit, right? So this is more of, teachings that are made to divide, right? Divide people, and of course separate you from the community, right? That you hold dear, or from even questioning anything, right? So, all right, so find the exit. The exit of the maze represents salvation or enlightenment, where truth and peace are found. Now, this thought experiment challenges you to think critically about how you would identify and avoid the allure of false prophets, using wisdom, community, and divine guidance to navigate through deceptions to find truth. So how would you proceed? What signs would you look for? And how would you ensure you're not led astray by spectacle or manipulation, especially on X Spaces and other social media, areas, or even TV? There's lots of false prophets out there right now, and many who say they've seen the light. But again, when you navigate through your tools, remember that I discussed, okay, some navigational strategies, testing the spirits, looking beyond the spectacle, community reflection, personal integrity check, the long-term view, right? And of course, the compass of discernment, right? Remember, that is your ability to judge character and teaching by its fruits. And again, question, does the teaching lead to the betterment of individuals and society, or does it foster division, fear, or self-indulgence, right? And then you have the map of the scripture, remember. So ancient texts, like the Bible, for instance, right, that serve as a guide, providing criteria for truth and false prophecy, okay? The lantern of prayer, a connection to a higher wisdom or divine guidance meant to illuminate the path when logical tools fail. And remember, even Satan, right? Even Satan knows the Bible, right? So be very careful, because you have people that can quote scripture and definitely lead, God-fearing people astray, right? So you're going to need to know for yourself. So pray on it, right? Read the Bible. 99.99% of people have not even read the Bible, okay, at all, or they read, even if anything, pick up Audible, right? And download a Bible. I did. I downloaded actually 2 different versions of the Bible, and listened to the whole thing from start to finish. It took hours and hours and hours. But again, it was a dedicated time for me to kind of listen. And I even had it on when I was sleeping, right? Because you can, be amazed at how much you can, listen to and absorb even in your subconscious, okay? So, read it. Don't just read it once. Read it several times, right? And pray on it, okay? And don't just take somebody else's word for their interpretation of the scripture either. You find out for yourself, okay? You seek knowledge, okay, for yourself. And your spiritual journey is yours and yours alone, okay? So with that said, again, this is Anna London with Thought Experiment, and again, whatever you believe in is whatever I believe in. I'm not saying you have to be Christian or whatever. I'm just saying for me, I'm just remembering the Sabbath day, keeping it holy. And so I wanted, especially in this day and age where we're all seeing cues and signs, clues and signs of the end times, it would seem, right, that align with the biblical prophecy, okay? And again, there's lots of archaeological findings. I actually did early on in the podcast episodes. I actually recorded, okay, an episode that aligned with, for those of you that are non-believers or even question, okay, there are archaeological findings that actually directly relate to, Jesus's presence here, his time on earth, right? And, he is the only living God, right? He is the only living God. Everyone else has passed away, but he, arose, right? After 3 days. So the resurrection. He is the way, the truth, and the life. Okay, so I'm not trying to, tell you must be a Christian or whatever, but, whatever you read, whatever you do, just, again, there's lots of maze of false prophets, okay? Lots of false prophets in this maze of life, I guess, is what I'm trying to state. And without rambling on, if you will, you're going to need your own compass of discernment, okay? Your own ability to judge character and teaching by its fruits, okay? And don't just listen to the masses, okay? There were people in X Spaces today that I was listening to where, he focused on me, and more me, right? That he was the only one that knew the answers and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the only one that knows everything really is God, right? Whatever God that you believe in, okay? But for me, I just happen to be, Christian faith. And, I'm just, just trying to, for those of you that do believe, you could choose not to even listen to this podcast episode, and that's perfectly fine too, right? But for those of you that are trying to, discern between, false prophets and spiritual leaders, right? Some true, some false, and they all claim to be leading to some type of salvation or enlightenment. Okay. And so I was trying to put something out there to help you navigate through that maze so you don't end up, in a trap. That's all I'm trying to say. All right. So I hope this was helpful to you, right? I'm going to do another one too about, on the religious side. And then of course, to get back into the, there's scientific evidence, if you will. Honestly, if you look at the archaeological findings, there's several actually that actually align with the historical texts in the Bible being factual. So for those of you that doubt it, just look, and you can go listen to my earlier podcast. I forget what number it is, but anyways, I actually walk through the science of it all, right? The archaeological evidence that substantiates many things actually that happened in the Bible, that are listed in the Bible, that are actually true. So anyways, things to ponder, right? Especially in this day and age, okay? And again, whatever God you believe in is whatever God you believe in. I just happen to be, Christian, and I'm not trying to say you have to be Christian, but I am trying to say that there is the way, the truth, and the light, and whatever path you take could lead to potential or to eternal damnation, right? Or eternal light, right? So I'm just a messenger in this case, honestly, and speaking from my own experience, right? And again, your spiritual journey is yours and yours alone, okay? So you seek out, your own spiritual enlightenment, if you will, in whatever shape or form. This is just how I happen to do it, right? All right, so with that said, this is Anna London with Thought Experiment, signing out.